Don't understand.
Is it fair to say that the generation of young males, say age 18 to 28 or 30 in Ukraine has been decimated, that they don't have the human beings, no matter what general is going to command the troops and no matter what cash he has to spend and no matter what ammunition has come from the U.S., they don't have the human beings to operate this stuff. Is that fair?
Yeah. That's why they're saying that the average age of their soldiers on the front line are 43 years old. That means it's the fathers of those boys, those young men that are out there on the front line, not them. They've been chewed up, and when you got an average age of 43, that means you've got a good contingent of people who are 50 and some into their 60s. I'm sure that there are some people who are physically fit and can maybe endure some of that, but fighting in a war, fighting in these terrible conditions with weather, it's a young man's game, and Ukraine doesn't have a solution to it. Not in the short term, not in the medium term, not in the long term. It's really sort of committed suicide with this operation.
Before we go, just back to the Middle East, our mutual friend, Alistair Crook, says Armageddon strikes at midnight and the clock's about 11:30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody that's had the pleasure of knowing Alistair and talking to him in person, he is, I would describe him as a gentle man. He is not one given to overstatement. He is very circumspect, sort of quintessential British in that regard. And so when he makes that kind of observation, I think it's one that people should take with great seriousness, because the prospects for this spinning out of control, and with the United States right now not in a position, we're in a self-delusion. We have convinced ourselves that we're bigger, better, stronger, and faster than we really are. And it's only when you get put into a combat environment, like we're discovering off the coast of Yemen. People thought, oh boy, U.S. Navy will take quick, clean up quickly what's going on in Yemen. Well, here we are 2 months later, and we're lobbing bombs and they're lobbing anti-ship missiles, and they're just going back and forth tit for tat. It's like a long extended tennis match.
Do you fear, as do I, there's that old one-liner, when all else fails, they take you to war, that the Biden administration, in order to get the public's mind off of his mental deficiencies, which are now obvious to the vast majority of Americans, will engage us in war in the Middle East.
I can't rule that out as a possibility. I think, though, what is going to prevent that is the chaos that's unfolding right now within the Democrat Party. They realize they've got to get rid of Biden. I mean, when the New York Times editorial board comes out with an article today, I believe, and they're telling Biden, hey, your time's up, dude. Submit your resignation papers, get out. Let somebody else step in who can do the job. That's just a gang fight that's going to get ready to erupt. So there are a lot of people that would want to be president or want to replace him, and Kamala Harris is going to fight for her bit of this as well. So what I'm saying is, with that kind of, this is actually sort of a mirror image of what's going on in Kiev. In Kiev, you've got all this drama of, is Zaluzhny in, Zaluzhny out? Now Syrsky's in, he's the butcher, but there's all this unrest. They're firing other people. The United States is going through that same thing. And when you have that, you don't have any kind of coherence in policy out on the front lines.
Do we have a competent, capable, physically well Secretary of Defense? I believe he's in intensive care again as we speak.
Yeah, no, I think his medical condition is far more serious than they've admitted to at this point. and I guess he's 1 year older than I am, and to be the second bout of ICU. They don't put somebody into ICU just because they have some fame or they're a high profile person. I know that firsthand because my wife ran the critical care unit, the ICU, at the National Institutes of Health. She was there for 40 years. So I have some insight into it because I live with an expert.
Wow. Larry, thanks very much, my dear friend. Even when the news is not good, it's a pleasure to be able to pick your brain. We'll look forward to you and that youngster McGovern back with us on Friday afternoon.
All right, Judge. Thanks.
All the best. Coming up at 1:30 Eastern, Congressman Andy Biggs. Where is the Congress on all of this? Why are they giving money away to Israel? They really want to waste another $60 billion in Ukraine. What do they think about Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin?